Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Emily Sophia, here to break down for you the latest episode of Bates Motel. So, we are on Season 3, Episode 3, Persuasion. So if I can persuade you to stick around for my vlog, then do be warned that there are many spoilers ahead, as we will be diving into the mad thick of things, and I shall be bearing all in this review. And I'm realizing that I'm switching things up in my intro. What scary times are ahead of us. So also be sure that when you are done watching this video, check out the links in the description to other stuff that I've done, and also I'm going to be doing a channel on the song. Wow. I really am thinking in reverse. I'm going to do a song on my channel soon, so that's going to be fun too. But anyway, so you came here for the Bates Motel, I'm going to give you the Bates Motel, like it or not. So let's do this. Wow, was that an incredibly emotional, disturbing, scary little ride through the Badlands of White Pine Bay and through the psyche of the one and only Norman Bates. And oh good God, we are going places. Mother has arrived for the first time since it was last season's finale, actually. This is the first time that this iteration of Norma Bates has appeared. And there's so much that I want to dissect in that scene, and being that I'm not looking at an actual screen cap or footage of it as we speak, inevitably there are precious details that I'm going to miss. So if there's anything about some of those critical scenes in the episode that I failed to address, that I failed to pull out of my brain as I attempt to unspool it, then please by all means take that down to the comment section, because oh man. So we are beginning to see that Mother and Norma Bates are beginning to collide in the mind of Norman, which is a very, very dangerous business, because while Norma wants to protect Norman from himself, it's as if Mother wants to bring Norman closer to who he truly is, or who the insanity of his mother and the pressure that she's putting on him in real life is making him turn into, which that was a really crazy and unexpected twist for me. I mean, we know that it is through the forcing of his mother and this kind of toxic and yet sometimes beautiful and tragic relationship they share. We knew that this was a sinking ship since day one, but that whole breakdown in front of Emma where he is absolutely losing it and finally expressing what exactly is going on in his mind, that he's been conscious this entire time, and that in the times where he thinks everything is clear, where he feels confident, he is being made to believe that he has done something that he has not, that he is someone who he is not. You know, it's such a crazy and scary thought that Norma's desperate attempts to protect him are being manifested in these ways. And again, it's all stuff that we knew. Like, we all knew that Norma and her behavior is driving him crazy, but then also he feeds into that as well, and it is the epitome of the vicious cycle. Okay, but it's just the fact that he is expressing it and that he is recognizing this inner turmoil and where all of this is coming from. And then the fact that he tells Norma that he has been trying to take ownership of what he has done, of the whole Blair Watson situation. So there's this incredibly lucid moment, and then just as soon as he violently sends Norma away, slams the door, and is alone in the bathroom, Mother arrives to draw him a bath and to persuade him to recall what exactly transpired. And we see in all of these this array of images that coalesce in his mind as he is passing out underwater. We don't see any new intel about what's happened with Annika. We see everything in the past We see Norma, I think, was that even a scene from his childhood that we saw in there? And so, of course, we see these images of Annika, of course, the plunging neckline in her smiles, and then the slitting of Blair Watson's throat, and all these things converge together as he's trying to remember, did he actually do this? And he admits to Mother that he has become confused. But now, here's what's interesting, is that Norman tells Norma Bates, real-life Mother Norma, that he was trying to take responsibility for what happened to Blair. But as I recall, Mother was the one who was taking responsibility. Like, wasn't it? I seem to recall one of the times that he saw Mother, she was saying, like, don't worry, I've got this all under control kind of thing. You know, and this whole seductive way about her. And then, okay, the freaking undressing scene. Now. Let's get a little Freudian, shall we? Slip right on down that slope. Oh, Lord of mercy. But, yeah, so let's talk about Mother. Mother has got her hair pinned judiciously back in a nice bun or ponytail, whatever it was. And she has her neat pressed dress, almost kind of a bluish gray. But again, it's that salacious seductiveness with which she approaches everything. And she's kind of this calm voice of reason, almost, except not. And in this instance, she is... You know, we think of the first time that we saw Mother, and she is looking disdainfully on Blair Watson through the cracked door in her lingerie and the whole you know what you have to do kind of thing. So it's another one of those you know what you have to do scenarios, but this is to remember what he's done. And Mother is there to kind of facilitate that and say, well, let's look at the facts, shall we? Let's see where you're really headed. And as it turns out, Annika shows up at the last freaking minute with what Norma describes as a gunshot wound, and then she is given this final parting gift, as it were. A bloodied USB drive, which who freaking knows what that's gonna pull up if they can make that work. I'm trying to think of... I have no idea what that could be, and I feel like, is it attached to something that we've seen before? I have no idea. Maybe it's just supposed to be the mystery for next week, and I guess I can deal with that. Because I will be thinking about Mother and Norma and Norman and the whole love triangle of sorts that's transpiring here. But yeah, it's so fascinating, so scary. I'm going to try and return to this scene and touch base on the other things that we saw in this week's episode, other minor characters as well, just to kind of make sure that we're saying hey to everybody in the crew. We had some interesting scenes with Dylan and Caleb, still the ongoing tension, and still I believe that sort of the role that Dylan has taken on is one of trying to protect his family from a distance. He's at once trying to establish this business which by nature he wants to keep away from his family and separate, although the big freaking weed mobile shows right up at his house and Emma transports that into the woods. But other than that, he is trying to have these separate spheres, and he's really not directly present in the affairs of his family, which again is a bummer because he adds such an interesting element. But now there are actually 3 Bates back at the motel, if you count the one in Norman's noggin. So that's a thing. But yeah, the way that I'm trying to see what's going on with Dylan, the way that I perceive it is that he's trying to protect his family because he's not 100% buddy-buddy with Caleb, and really, I am glad that he's not totally complacent. You see that discomfort, you see that refusal to take the money that Caleb is attempting to so graciously bestow upon him. Dylan still doesn't want anything to do with that. He realizes that he has to put up with this guy, and he's going to do it, but I hope that deep down it is for the sake of his family. Probably part of it too, subconsciously, is that desire to figure out who this guy really is, even separate from all the atrocities of the past and what transpired with Norma. So he's in a mixed place right now for sure. But and we see that when Emma shows up and she meets Caleb and is kind of doing the whole back and forth like, oh, so here we all are, little half family reunion that I did not wish to stumble upon. I have a feeling, knowing poor sweet Emma and where her truest loyalties lie, I mean, she cares deeply for the Bates family, but I know that intel is going to reach the hotel and the shenanigans are going to transpire. And what with the surge of violence kind of in Norman's soul and psyche right now, I am a little bit scared. I'll never forget that scene though when he tried to take Caleb out in that last season. Oh man, I mean, I wonder if there is going to be a part 2 or a second exchange if and when he finds out that this guy is still somewhere in the picture of White Pine Bay. He's trying to kind of take root in the system, in the economy, in the infrastructure of White Pine Bay in order to be just close enough to the family, not close enough to have Norma freaking screaming an inch away from his face and getting his, you know, brain blasted in that way, but he wants to enmesh himself in some way, and it sucks. I really don't think he's gonna make it out because people are dropping like flies right now. For the most part, they're all women. This is all a hell of a lot of foreshadowing for the body count that Norman is inevitably going to accumulate, but Mother's got it all under control. We ain't gotta worry ourselves none. Anyway. I do live in the Oregon area though, so But yeah, Dylan's out there. Emma is trying to also find her place in the Bates family arrangement. She is now dating one of the least stable members of the clan, but I would say that none of them are exactly playing with all the cards in the deck. Not by choice, not by their own faults. There's just this collective trauma that's shared between them all, and here's Emma trying to make it, to feel beautiful, love herself, be loved, you know, classic life stuff. Emma's trying, and I gotta say that she looked freaking fine driving that weedmobile up, weedmobile, the weedmobile, as I have nicknamed it, up into the woods. You know, the classy headscarf and the and the shades. That was definitely a Norma look. The two of them have kind of this fun vintage vibe going on that I enjoy a lot. But yeah, so she's still in the picture. I heard some inkling that she and Norman are supposed to be getting intimate at some point, which I don't know. I don't know what I want. I am scared because I would be scared for the two of them trying to get to that place. I mean, they had that whole, last week, they had that Wendy Peter Pan moment that seemed to be some kind of turn on for Norman or something. I don't know. There's so much happening. I can like barely feel my face right now. I just want to permanently retire my forehead and my eyebrows. Just let them fly away and be free because they're so tired. They're working all the livelong day on my face. They don't catch a break. But anyways, so she's there. I'm concerned. We're gonna move along. There's also an interesting dynamic with Alex, Romero, and Marcus, the guy who's showing up to run for sheriff, and to that, Norman what am I saying? Romero. God. Everything is Norman. Everything is Norma. Everything is Mother. She is in all, and everything is her. But not. Let's not get to that point of insanity. But yeah, Romero, he very firmly kicks his heels into the ground and establishes his place. Marcus seems kind of like a cool dude, though. Definitely a different kind of fit for this community. We get a very brief little bit of exposition about his familiarity with the area, and he's from, what, like southern Missouri? Wherever it was. He's here now. Different power dynamic, but like he catches Romero at a very interesting time, and that's probably intentional because here are these murder scandals that Romero's got on his hands, and he's trying to keep this town together, trying to keep the weed wars under wraps, or, you know, from happening whatsoever. That also a very interesting meeting with was that I think it was like the owner of the Arcanum Club that he was meeting with, having a drink with. That was a very interesting dialogue. I actually kind of like the quote. I think I wrote it down somewhere. What did he say? It was like, it was something like, you're so far from being morally superior to me that it's ridiculous. I really do kind of want to work that into my daily vocabulary. And also Romero's just deadpan comment, like, I'm not here to judge your sex parties. Just saying. You know, the next time you're hanging out with a friend and they're being defensive about something, you can just be like, look, I didn't show up here to judge your sex parties. Like, whatever, you know. We've got other fish to fry. But then there's this question of whether the recent dead body that wasn't Annika has anything to do with the Arcanum Club. She was working for a very high-end escort service, tucking in the quintuple digits. I forget what's higher than quadruple, because I'm not very rich and I don't think about these things, or making 5 figures in a weekend. It's not my life. I went to frickin' college. What is this even? Anyway, I'm not going to have this life crisis here with all of you. Maybe I'll just go manage a hotel, you know, like grab my GED, just go back in time and get my GED on top of my bachelor's in English. But yeah, so Romero he's in a very interesting position where he kind of is touching base with everyone, trying to prevent outbursts at like every single corner. And then here's Marcus, this cool suave guy who has some know-how about him, and offers his assistance in the presence of these murders. So it's possible that he's going to end up working his way into Romero's inner circle. Now, speaking of Romero and Norman, actually, that interrogation, or, you know, questioning scene at the very beginning was quite fascinating, because we've seen a very evasive Norman in the face of Romero before, and we've seen him attempt to pull excuses out of a hat, like magic rabbits or colorful scarves. But this time around, he seems very ready and very capable, again, to own things, and Norma tries to take that away from him, which kind of builds to that crazy climax of getting to re-meet Mother once again. And so it's all starting to make sense. Very horrible, very tragic sense, but sense nonetheless. And we saw this coming, and now it's all in motion. And as upsetting as it is, it's gratifying in that dark sense that the ultimate climax that we get is not being shied away from by any means, and we can see all of the gears are meshing together. They are in motion, not a single loose screw. We are headed places, and I hope that it continues to be that way, because I don't see, you know, it's clear sailing to crazy land from here, okay? So there's that. Oh, so many things, but honestly, it all comes down to Norman. And, yeah, I'm trying to break it all down in my mind. I feel like there's some next epiphany that's just on the horizon, and I'm, like, so close to it. Man, but, and also, that scene where Norman lays down in the tub reminds me, and it should remind all of you Dexter fans, of that iconic scene from the first season of Dexter, actually. Is it that episode that has the quote where it's like, there are no secrets in life, just truths lying beneath the surface? I'm butchering it ever so slightly. No more so than the Bay Harbor butcher, but anyway, yeah, so that was a very uncanny similarity there. Just as the truths are lying beneath the surface of Norman's life. And it kind of mimics another scene from the first season, actually, where isn't he, like, thinking about Bradley or his mother, or both, you know, the ladies? I remember that too, so... And also Mother tells him before he gets into the tub, she reminds him of the time that he was trapped in that box under the ground and how he could remember everything when he was there, and so she prompts him to do so again, to remember and find himself on the edge of death. And maybe that's why someday he will kill, because he finds himself in that death. He finds Mother, and there it is. We did it. We cracked the code. All right, you know, I guess I'm done with the show. By no means, it's all the more exciting to see how they go about it. And that's what's the best about these shows where, like with NBC's Hannibal, we know the end game. We know that Hannibal is the cannibal. We've known these things from the start, but it's all about the way that they are portrayed. It's all about the way that things are arrived at in... And there are even, you know, there is even the possibility that something fundamental will change. But it just enriches that whole experience, and it makes the iconic Psycho story, for me, it feels that much deeper, that much more impactful. It adds to that horror this element of sadness, because we are losing these characters in this relationship that we long for them to have in the happily ever after. And it's like, we know where it's going, and we are made to want different. We are made to want better. We are forced to. I don't know what this episode did to me, but I'm feeling lots of things right now. Also, there was another thing that I think this actually brought me to tears when I watched it, when Norman is letting Norma have it before his little private consultation with Mother, that he stayed on this earth for her, and yet she is turning him into a killer by refusing to let him own these things. I mean, it makes you wonder, was there any chance that he could have come back and come off this path after Blair Watson if things were different with Norma? It all makes you wonder, how far back can you go? Where was this first seed planted? Where did the first little sprig of life sprout up from? Could it have been cut away, and could everything have been different? It makes you wonder, but oh man, was that a powerful hit. I keep forgetting even that episode, the last season, where Norman was ready to kill himself and Norma refused. But now here he is, alive and being destroyed inside by this constant feeling that he is being accused incessantly. That Norma's constant worrying, nagging, obsessing, consuming nature is consuming who he might be, who he could be outside of this lust for women that turns so violent. Also interesting too, I know I'm hopping around a whole freaking bunch, but how Romero says, you know, that women trust you. That whole thing as well. And I do want to touch on Norma's budding education at Trout Lake Community College, and her run-in with the freaking co-author of The Fault in Our Stars with the Secret Club of the Damaged. That was quite a name, but I kind of like the hipster fellow. bit dickish at first, but he owns up to that. Norma owns up to that. And he invites her to some, you know, little therapy sesh, which I feel she's dabbled ever so slightly in that realm. I remember, like, her last time in therapy was when she was talking about how her mother smelled of cupcakes, and that, I mean, she pretty much dismissed herself. She stamped herself as in 100% solid mental health, and now she is feeling the weight of the world, dressing up to go knock down bypass signs, romping around outside of the sex clubs, looking for the women that her son might have killed. What a life, you know? At the end of the day, we got a pretty freaking good. So anything I forgot, please, the comments. It'll be good and great. Let's talk there. And once again, I love this show. All my heart, soul, mind. And yeah, as always, if I can make it that long, I will be back before you know it.